we have very limited time, so I'll get right into it. Shahbaz, I would love for you to introduce yourself, which I feel is something that you don't get to do very often.
Um, Firstly, thank you so much for coming. And I can't see Arzish, but thank you for having me and to the wonderful people that organize this festival. It's amazing. And for someone like me, and I'll just introduce myself, इस तरह के festivals काफ़ी unique होते हैं because I have a 5-year gap. I went from uh, so my name is Shahbaz Taseer, and in 2011 I was kidnapped by a group that was affiliated with the Taliban, and I spent 5 years in captivity in between the border regions of Pakistan and Afghanistan. And although I survived the kidnapping, I missed this digital revolution. So I went from having phones that had buttons on it to whatever we have today. So yeah, so this festival is amazing for people like me who have the gap, and yeah, it's a fantastic learning experience, and it's amazing to be here.
Shabazz, apart from like the individual struggle that you went through or the personal struggle that you went through, how like your business acumen changed once you were back and trying to get into the game? Like, how did you bounce back?
Um, Thank you. Um, Actually, I am more or less the same person. Um, और ये आई थिंक मेरी एक स्ट्रेंथ है. द थिंग इज़ कि दुनिया तो बदलती है और बहुत तेज़. मगर you're always part of the system, and you grow with it, or you see it as these changes occur. एक शॉक आपको बस ये मतलब मैं आपको एक छोटा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. WhatsApp didn't exist in 2011, or if it did, it was a very basic way of messaging. Instagram didn't exist. Twitter, monetization on social media didn't exist. तो आई केम बैक. मेरे लिए सबसे मुश्किल चीज़ ये थी कि मेरी रूटीन इतनी डिस्टर्ब हो गई थी. हम लोगों की एक बचपन से ट्रेनिंग होती है, सुबह उठना होता है, स्कूल जाना होता है, कॉलेज जाना होता है, ऑफिस जाना होता है. और जब आपको कोई उस रूटीन से रिमूव कर दे, एंड यू हैव 5 years of actually not even any kind of routine, but I was in solitary confinement, so I was kept by myself. So it's very difficult to come back, and you need certain energy levels. But maybe I guess when you have something like this happen to you, I didn't want to lose any more time. So that's what drives me every day. I don't want to lose any more days. I don't want to lose any more weeks. I don't want to lose years of my life. And I've lost 5. That's a university degree. एंड सो यू नो मैंने अपने आप को कुछ बेसिक ट्रेनिंग्स की हैं. वेक अप 7 in the morning, वर्क आउट, go to work, no matter how difficult it is, to sit on a desk from 9 in the morning till uh, the evening, and sometimes even at night, because you have to put in those hours if you actually want to grow and build something. And so I trained myself. It took me 3 or 4 years, but and nothing in the world is easy. You can't just suddenly do something. So it requires a commitment of consistency, and that's the only thing I did.
Shabazz, you manage a thriving business, mashallah say, and you're also an author. So how do these two parallel but not overlapping careers feed into each other?
I have to tell you that I'm very lucky with the second career, because शायद अगर मैं अगवा ना होता तो मैं author ना होता. So I'm only an author because I got kidnapped. I'm very lucky. मेरे से लोग पूछते हैं आप दूसरी किताब लिखेंगे, तो I always tell them मैंने फिर से अगवा नहीं होना, तो मैं नहीं लिखूंगा. मगर but it's amazing, like anything in life, it was an opportunity. And I could have told this story many ways, and I have tried to tell it through different mediums, whether it's a podcast or an interview or a live talk. But physically writing a memoir It's like making a small business, because it starts literally from nothing, from scratch, and you conceptualize this project. You have to sell it. There's a lot of money involved. There's editors involved. There's a team involved in putting something like this. And then you think that, I've told my story, or many I'm done with what I was supposed to do, but that's maybe 10% of the work is actually writing the book, and the rest of it is coming out of your shell, which is doing things like this, which I'm not socially awkward, but I'm not someone who's trained to speak publicly or give interviews or do podcasts or things like this. So it's something that's out of my comfort zone, but something that I had to learn to do if I wanted to get this book across the world. And for the last 1 year, that's what I've been doing. I've been traveling everywhere. I've been meeting wonderful people, interviews, podcasts, different mediums that I didn't even know existed, while sticking to some of the old mediums like radio. Um, so it's an amazing. It's I don't know if it's a profession because I've written this one book, but it was an amazing opportunity. And by the way, I met Arzish because of the book. Well, work as well, but a lot to do with the book as well. Um, so you manage it. This is more my night job, and the business is my day job.
Right. So, I mean, taking a small tangent from there, it's a question that I guess everybody gets, but in your case, it's going to be even more prevalent. What motivated you to stay in Pakistan? Because that's like a huge question that, given the socioeconomic and in your case, the security situation, why stick around? Bluntly asking that.
Um, so s- that's a tough question. So just to explain something to you, I have nowhere else to go. I'm Pakistani, so I can't go anywhere else. This is my country. This is my home. मेरे वालिद साहब ने he gave his life for not even a certain type of class, but the poorest and most vulnerable people in this country. And that it's not it wasn't for me, but it is my responsibility to carry that legacy forward. और मैं हमेशा ये सोचता हूँ कि दुनिया में लोग क्या कहेंगे, या पाकिस्तानी क्या कहेंगे, मुसलमान मेरे भाई क्या कहेंगे, अगर वो कहें कि यार ये एक और आदमी इस मुल्क को छोड़ के चला गया, because of security or the socio-economic situation. I know that times are very difficult. They're very difficult all over the world, but I was trained from a very young age by my father to understand that when the economy turns one way, it is an opportunity to make a lot of money, investments long term, and when it turns the other way, you reap those investments. So that should never be a reason for you to run, though I understand the burden on the working class, but it's not a reason for me to leave my country. And if you bring up the security situation, then I would tell you that I have seen the most evil and the most vile men in their eyes, and I've lived with them for many years. And they tried their very hardest to break me physically and mentally, and they were unable to do that as well. So I'm not scared of them, and they would not be a reason for me to leave my country either. So this country is one of the most promising economies in the world. I know that we have a lot of red tape, we have a lot of bureaucratic issues. There's also a lot of corruption in this country, but this is prevalent everywhere. It's not something unique to Pakistan. It's the sort of issue that you face no matter what country you go into. But the kind of money that you can make in Pakistan, and also I'll tell you something. It's better to be a fish known in a small pond than to be just nobody in a large sea. And I that appeals to me as well. पाकिस्तान में आप नाम बना सकते हैं क्योंकि हम पाकिस्तानी हैं. बाकी दुनिया में, and I'll be honest with you, I've been educated in England. I'm half English, so I've lived abroad. It's I've never received the same love and respect that I have in this country. And I've never just I'll give you a small example. My publisher, I have a US publisher. They're I think the second or the third largest publishers in the world. And when we were doing we were splitting how the book will be distributed, I asked them to give me the rights for Pakistan, and they literally laughed, and they said that Pakistan doesn't even have a recognizable book market. And I think in the last 1 year, I've sold about 20,000 units in this country. And I haven't sold those units in rupees. I've sold them at, I think, $24 a book or something. It just shows you the kind of interest, the kind of money, the kind of capacity that this country has. And my publisher, who thought that this would be an international bestseller, is now competing with the numbers in Pakistan.
That's an amazing insight to hear. Moving on to like the business side of things, could you shed some light on your investment strategy, what your personal investment strategy is, and how do you approach decision making in business?
So, the personal investment side is a bit weak because जब आप पाकिस्तान में थोड़ा सा पैसा बनाते हैं तो डीएचए में प्लॉट लेते हैं या कोई ऐसी हरकत करते हैं. I My main idea of what an investment is putting your time, energy, and money back into whatever it is that's given you this platform or has put you in a status or position where people are interested in what you're selling. And so this is something that I learned from my father. He used to tell me that how do you make a small fortune? You start with a big one. So he said ये पाकिस्तान में बहुत बड़ा मसला होता है. एक जनरेशन बनाती है, दूसरी जनरेशन इनहेरिट करती है और तीसरी जनरेशन उसको तबाह कर देती है. इधर लोगों को corporations banana, like the Toyotas or the Suzukis in Japan, or the Shells, or these Ford, or these big corporations that we know in the world today. He said the problem over here is the wastage, right? And so from a very early age, my younger brother and myself, we've always been trained that these companies, you know मैं आपको एक हिंदू का एग्जांपल देता हूँ जो इंडिया में होता है. जब वो अपनी दुकान खोलता है सुबह, तो वो उसके सामने पूजा या जो भी होता है करता है, शुक्र अदा करता है जहाँ से उसको रिस्क मिलता है. मगर इधर मैंने ये बहुत कम देखा है. आई हैव नेवर सीन एनीवन से अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह जब वो सुबह ऑफिस जाते हैं या वो अपना काम शुरू करते हैं. बट आई थिंक मैं 12-13 साल का था. आई कांट रिमेंबर. आई वाज वेरी यंग व्हेन आई हैड टू स्टार्ट वर्किंग इन माय कंपनीज विद माय डैड. And the only lesson that he used to tell me was, do not take these companies as something that you take from. It's something that you have to keep putting back so that it grows. And it can never stop growing, because the day that something stops growing, it starts dying. So this is a very basic concept of what I call investing.
Right.
I don't go and buy stocks. I buy my own company stocks. I buy my own properties. I buy my own whatever, if there's a bond, if there's a mutual fund, if anything, I invest in my own company. And then what I would tell you about your investment strategy is what anybody would basically tell you, which is split your income and always find yourself saving more money, investing more money than you're spending. This is just the most basic investment technique that I can tell you. I was just very lucky because मेरे वालिद साहब जो थे वो एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट थे. उनको लोग ज़्यादातर सियासतदान समझते हैं, वो सियासतदान नहीं थे. He was a qualified chartered accountant, and he was a self-made man, a self-educated man, a self-made man. And so some of these qualities or attributes are directly because of him, because of his training.
For a lot of people who have achieved a lot in life, entrepreneurs, authors, so many other things, they find it hard to get into like the philanthropic side of things. So do you have like a roadmap of sorts that others could use, maybe, because you're doing a lot? So yeah.
I have this wonderful person called Tehniyat, who I can't see. There she is. That's my work map. So part of being tech illiterate is having the opportunity to learn about tech. But also, I have this amazing team, which is we own in my company. We own a newspaper and Pakistan's largest digital fashion magazine. And so this is actually what these guys do. But they realized very early on, when I wrote my book and I wanted to promote it, I didn't even know I didn't know how to use Instagram or Facebook or any of these mediums. So these guys actually explained to me how you market, how you strategize. They book all my talks, they coordinate it, because I'm actually, I don't know how to use a smartphone. I'm horrible with it unless it's playing a video game. I'm really good with video games. Um, and so, it's sometimes you kind of think that ye banda is responsible for his own thing, but really, like, I'm wherever I am in life because I have the most fantastic people that I work with. I have an amazing support system at home. I think people don't realize, if you're kidnapped for 5 years and you're kidnapped by the Taliban for 5 years, you need a lot of love and you need a lot of mental alignment. And I'm very lucky that I have that support at home, and that allows me to do all of these different things. So a lot of the strategy, the digital strategy, comes right there in front of you. I can't take responsibility for it, although I have in the last 1 year learned enough that now if they tell me what to upload, I can do that.
Great, that's pretty amazing to hear. Last question from my side, Shahbaz. What is one thing that you're excited for this year, whether it's a business wise, whether it's a personal thing, anything that you're looking forward to? So, yeah,
Is anybody excited about the elections? No
I
one.
guess that we all are. So, certainly, apart from that.
डू वोट. मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ. मेरे से बड़े लोग आजकल, यंग स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं, वो ये हमेशा कहते हैं कि फ़ायदा क्या है वोट करने का, निज़ाम तो ऑलरेडी बना हुआ है. द राइट टू वोट is probably fundamentally your most important right, besides your right to live, because it kind of also decides your entire life. Your most important rights, people will step on them and try to reduce them, because owning 100% of your right makes you very powerful. I would have liked an election. I love election times because it reminds me of my father. You would just see a different animal during election time. So I miss him. I wish the system honored men like him who fought a lot for our basic rights. But more than anything, I know the country is not exactly in the direction jahan hum log chahte hain, but I will tell you that it's an exciting year for Pakistan. There's going to be a lot of big things happening. Whatever it is, जो भी गवर्नमेंट आ रही है उसके ऊपर बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर है to deliver. And we have a tremendous appetite as a country. So you can let it get you down, but I am very optimistic. So I think there's going to be a lot of money coming in the country. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the country. I think this, by the way, platform, if you make the most of it, also is a tremendous opportunity. One of Arzish is a very close friend. Amir is a very close friend, and we're friends because we do business together and we make money together, and that's really that's what these platforms are there for, and that's what I'm excited about in the upcoming year. And I hope everybody makes the most of these opportunities.
Glad to hear that. Thank you for taking the time out to come here and speak to us. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Shahbaz Taseer.
Thank you, guys. बहुत ठंडा दिन है, so thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
God bless you guys.